Welcome to another Death Head Dice Warhammer 40,000 battle report. This is going to be Orks versus Tyranids. And a quick introduction, we're changing the format slightly. At the end of each turn, the opponents, so in this case it would be Mark and myself, are going to go over what happened in the last turn. We're going to summarize it in our own words while we're playing the game, and also talk about our tactics for the next turn and how we're going to deal with what happened in the previous turn. This hopefully will give you a bit of insight on how things were playing in our minds and what we were thinking, what our plans were, and I think unfortunately it'll give you a little bit of insight on how much tactics I don't use. So on to Mark's 1,500 points of Tyranids. Mark brought as his warlord his Hive Tyrant with Lash Whip and Bone Sword, Heavy Venom Cannon, the Old Adversary Special Rule, and Armored Shell. He has two Carnifexes with Twin Links Devour with Brain Leech Worms and Heavy Venom Cannons. And he's got this beautifully painted Tyrannofex with Acid Spray, Cluster Spine, Desiccator Larvae Thortex Swarm. Man, they got fancy names, but I love the paint job on that one. He also has 10 squads of Termagants times 2 with flesh borers, 15 Hormagaunts with adrenal glands and toxin sacs, and he's got a Tyranid Prime with Lash Whip and Bone Sword, Death Spitter, Toxin Sacs, and 5 warriors with 2 Bone Stores each, Devour, and Toxin Sacs. Wow, that was a lot. Now on to my 1,500 points of Orks. So I'm leading the army with my big mech with a shock attack gun, and I also have a big mech with a custom force field. Brought 15 Ludas, just to have some extra DACA. There they go in focus now. Next up I have 2 squads of 30 boys. These are all Shootas, despite what the models look like. They also have 3 big Shootas and a Knob with a Power Claw and a Slugga and heavy armor. I also have a 3rd squad of boys, a little squad of 10. This is just to grab an objective. It comes with 1 big Shoota and a Knob with just a Slugga and Choppa. 3 Def Coptas, 2 with twin-linked rockets and 1 with twin-linked Shootas. 2 DACA Jets with the extra Super Shoota, and the Labas, which if you check the video links at the end, you can see how I made these. Table setup. So we rolled before we started to film and got the Crusade mission, which is just a straight objective-based mission. We also rolled for objectives, and we rolled the maximum. So there's 5 objectives on the table. The setup is hammer and anvil. This is the first time I've ever played the lengthwise table, and Mark wisely chose the end that wasn't blocked. My end is the one where I have to keep walking around the table side to side. So suggestion, if you're playing this and you've got one end blocked, choose the end that isn't blocked. Warlord traits. Mark rolled up Conqueror of Cities on a table with no city runes at all, so not much use for him. I rolled the Night Attacker and decided, and we'll find out if it was a good choice or not, decided, hey, yes, let it be night the first turn. So we're going to start off with turn 1 being under the night fighting rules. And we'll roll to see who went first, who goes first technically. And Mark wins the roll and opts to have me start first. So we start rolling the objectives. The first one is Sabotage. So anyone in control of that 3 inches of it will get on a 1 will blast. Number 6 is a Grav Wave Generator. So anyone's charge distances are halved if they're attacking and controlling that. The next one's a 4, which is Targeting Relay. So you re-roll any 1s on shooting. So into my movement phase, I'm moving up the Labas. And I'm going to move up the squad of boys on the right. Rolled for difficult terrain there first. Now the other boy squad, big boy squad's going to move. I was rolling good for my difficult terrain. Now moving the big mech with the custom force field, just to make sure that he can capture everyone in that 5+ cover bubble from the custom force field. Now next up, the big Shootas from the first boy squad are going to attack the Carnifexes. They get 9 shots, 3 hits, but no wounds. Now the other squad of boys, only 2 of the big Shootas can fire, and they get 6 shots, 4 hits, 1 wound, and Mark makes that save. So that takes us into Tyranids turn 1. The Hive Tyrant's going to start off by casting Telekine Dome onto the warriors, and does that successfully. So that gives them a 5+ cover save, much like the custom force field on the Big Mac. So the Tyrannofex is moving up. The 2 Carnifexes are moving through difficult terrain, trying to get some cover. The Hive Tyrant's going to move up, as are the Tyranid Warriors and the Tyranid Prime. And now the Termagants are going to move as well. And they're going to move the Hormagaunts up a bit through the difficult terrain. No, he's not moving them forward too much. He just wants to get more of them into the cover. Now into shooting. The Carnifex is going to target the Boy Squad. And the first shot manages to capture 4 hits, 2 wounds, and I fail both those saves. So the first 2 boys there. Now the Carnifex are going to fire their heavy venom cannons. So the first one is going to target both in the same spot. The first one scatters, but enough to still tag at least 1 boy there, or sorry, 3 boys. And the other one scatters the other direction, but it manages to land in such a way where it doesn't hit anyone, so no hits on those. So he managed to get 2 wounds, rerolls the 1, still fails it. I managed to make 1 of the saves. I got a +1 because of the night fighting, so I only lost 1 guy there. Now the Hive Tyrant's going to fire his heavy venom at the boys, and it's a hit. Manages to tag 4 boys, and she gets 4 hits and 4 wounds, and I managed to make 3 of the 4 saves. So next up, he's going to run the the Tyranid Warriors and the Tyranid Prime, and that brings us to the end of turn 1. So do a quick flyby of the table. Didn't get to use a good chunk of my force because of the night fighting rules. But as we said before at the beginning of this video, we're going to try a different overview of the end turn. So basically we're going to have Mark and I talk about what we thought happened in turn 1 and our plans for turn 2, tactics and such. So we'll do that right about now.
Alright, ending turn 1. So big guys coming on the side. Their objective is to go and eat up all those boys there. Looking forward to using all the template weapons from the Tyrannofex. These guys here are just sort of hovering back a bit on the next few turns. They're going to move up and trying to secure 1 or 2 of those objectives. Hormagaunts are holding back a little bit, and they'll be doing some sweeping tactics after I do some lightning up with the big guys. The Warriors are just trying to stay in position.
End of turn 1, and at this point I'm still trying to figure out which I want to do. I think having the 2 Carnifex in cover is going to make them a little harder to get out. The Gaunts in behind I don't think are as big of a threat. I think they're going to be a late turn, so I'm going to focus the majority of my fire on this nasty guy. I'm debating whether I should bring the boys up, but I think they're going to shoot up before they get a chance, so I'm hoping the Ludas and the shock attack gun can at least do some damage in that squad right there. I may wind up bringing these boys around, but we'll wait and see. And the Labas, I'm going to focus fire and move them up again. I should be able to at least lay some stuff into these guys as well. So that's my plan for turn 2, and we'll see you at the end of turn 2.
Click on the link to see part 2, and be sure to comment below and let us know, 1, who do you think is going to win the game based on what you've seen so far on the list that Mark and I are bringing. Also, let us know what you think about the new edition having the comments at the end. I know that the guys at Independent Characters were saying that there's something they didn't see much of and would like to. And I'm just curious to see what the feedback from everyone is. If you like the video, please click on like and click on subscribe. That way you won't miss any of the new ones. And be sure to share it with your friends. That way we get more views. It means we make more videos, which is good for everyone all around. Also, feel free to check out the Laba videos I talked about earlier. They're the building an Ork Laba and the tactics video just to the right there. And we'll see you in part 2.